So getting locked out of your car or your home, gosh, that could be so stressful, right? First, you get the panic setting in because you're like, wait, where are my other keys? What am I going to do? Did I really lock myself out? And you did. So you call a locksmith, but people are getting scammed. And so we've got Joe Ducey here with a Better Business Bureau to talk about how we can avoid losing hundreds of dollars, because this is really happening to people. So first off, what kind of locksmith scams, are you guys seeing the most right now?
Well, you really put your finger on it there. You're in a panic. You're in a panic situation. It's an emergency, right? You're locked out of your car. You're locked out of your house. So you're doing anything you can to try to get hold of anybody. So you call the first thing that comes up, and it happens to be, 24/7 or 724, whatever. And I'm not saying that's a bad company. I'm just saying those are usually the names.
Random.
Those are usually the names, right? And they get somebody to come out, and they've quoted like, 60, 70 bucks over the phone, and they pay like $700. What are you going to do? You're stuck. It's your car, you got to get in, you got to have it taken care of. So that's the big problem here.
Yikes. Yeah, it's the panic thing. Always reminds me of when you talk to us about those scammers who call on the phone and they put you in a state of panic as well, and that you can't get off the phone with them.
Yeah.
Say, no, do you need to complete this transaction? Do you want this to happen? Whatever.
Exactly.
So let's say they prey on that moment of panic when you're just not able to think as clearly.
They do.
Well, what are some of the red flags then when that's happening?
Well, the one, the biggest problem with a lot of these people is that and this is for probably most scams, they go to the first thing they can on an internet search.
Yes.
And it comes up the first thing, right? And it might be whatever it is. And that's not always the best thing, right? It can be a problem. Yeah. And so, ways to avoid these things: don't trust the top search results, right? Find out something. The second thing is research before an emergency. Try to get a locksmith in order beforehand. Do your research, go to bbb.org, go to another place. None of you are going to do this, but this is what you should do, Get a locksmith in order and find out who you're going to call in case something like this happens, because it could be a real problem.
It's so true. I think I like what you said there just about, the whole thing. Researching now so that when you are in this situation, you know someone to go to. But going back to even the first results that you'd see on Google, I think part of me thinks like, oh, well, these are the most legitimate ones because they're at the top. But that's not true.
No, it isn't really. They figured out a way to get to the top of most of these searches. But the problem with it is these companies, if you got a good company at the top, great. And they are out there. They're good locksmiths. But a lot of these companies are third parties, right? They're just names. And there's somebody at a switchboard or whatever, and they're calling freelancers around. Hey, do you happen to be over in wherever it is? And so they're getting, so some of the complaints, let me read, I don't know if we have much time.
We got some time. Let's hear.
My wife recently got locked out of her apartment without keys or phone. She decided to look up the first company she could with a stranger's phone. The quoted $475. She paid $2,000 for, it was just a little lock. I got locked out of my house. Desperately, I called the first number that popped up for a locksmith on Google, $495. And the problem with that one was they never gave them a quote ahead of time. So they're getting places, they think they're hiring one company. It comes out with a different placard with a magnet on the side of the car that says like Mike's or Jim's or Bill's,
Sure.
And you really don't know who you're dealing with. So I think the key really is for this is to do your research beforehand. There's also an association called the Associated Locksmiths of America. Associated Locksmiths of America. And you can make sure, if you're looking, find one ahead of time, that they're members of that. Because there are no laws, unfortunately, in Arizona for licensing for locksmiths.
How interesting.
California they do, here they don't. But so you need to protect yourself.
Yeah, and one of those ways we can do that is never paying in cash or debit or anything like that. You say pay with a credit card, because we may have some recourse there.
Exactly. Yeah. With a credit card, you can always, and I'd say this for anything, man. If people are asking for cash or Zelle or those things, you lose that money. And in many cases, we try to get money back from banks, from Zelle or Venmo, and they say, hey, this person gave them the ability to do this. They made that decision themselves, even though they got scammed. So a credit card, you have 60, 90 days later to try to fight it.
Okay, so if we do end up getting scammed then, and you're out those thousands of dollars, what can we do?
I would go to the Attorney General's office. Okay. They're good in the state. They do look at consumer problems. I'd also go to bbb.org, and I'd file a complaint with Scam Tracker. So that other people can see that there's a scam. And you can also file a complaint against a legitimate business there and try to get your money back at bbb.org. I'd also let, Joe knows better.
I was going to say.
Joe knows better. JoeKnowsBetter.com. Go there and let us know. We'll try to see what we can do about that kind of thing. But we've got all the scams and all the things you need to avoid right there.
Oh, thank you so much. You are saving so much of us thousands of dollars because unfortunately this is happening and you are somebody who has dedicated his career to stopping these scammers, stopping us from losing money. So you're a great resource. Make sure to visit Joe Knows Better, and we appreciate you being here.
Well, I appreciate it, Allison. Thanks a lot.
I feel like I'm going to do some research right now because I don't know
Get that locksmith down. Put it in your pocket.
Oh, my goodness.